Hello there, KWXers. Welcome back to another video. This video will be a lot shorter and nicer because it is pretty late at night, and I will make a much better video. I was gonna want to make this video earlier, but there's so much uncertainty between the models right now. The night before the most severe weather Michigan thing you could think of, but let's have a quick rundown of the event tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, chance of some isolated thunderstorms as seen right there. Hopefully that will produce cloud cover, which you may think is bad, but that will help with our hail risk very slightly. And then we have these cells come through. Now the only problem is will these initiate? So here's the 18Z, and then it snows afterward. Yeah, I know that's pain, but welcome to Michigan. Life isn't perfect. It's all not sunshine and rainbows if it ain't a nice stormy haily day and then it turns into snow. You know, that average Michigan weather. And then we have the 00Z where it initiates a lot later and over the lakes and for the northern counties, which by the way aren't even in a severe thunderstorm risk. So that's why I'm a little confused on what's going on here. I think what's going on here is just there's no cloud cover or anything initiating in this pocket right here. It might be cap, it might be something like that. Now let's take a look at the whole risk in general. As you can see, it's now this whole area is like under a slight risk, and I wouldn't be surprised if some area of concentrated model agreement might get an enhanced risk tomorrow afternoon. But as you can see, like each model run is different on the HER. So there's the 18Z, scattered severe thunderstorms, and then you go to the 12Z, and then you got yourselves scattered severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, etc. The list goes on, and the problem is that right now there is a chance of a cap building, but the larger risk of cap is mainly around this region. I don't know over southeastern Michigan. That's what I'm wondering for us. I think what is happening here is it really depends on what initiates south of us, and we will see that tomorrow. And it really depends on where these storms will convect. Like you see, it really depends. Look, that's why those storms form. They form off the lake, or they form off of. They never really form in Michigan. They kind of just fall into the unstable environment and take advantage of it and go crazy. And if I take a look at the surface-based cape from the afternoon, which eventually goes up a little bit more elevated into the mixed layer regions of the atmosphere, we could see a good 2,000 joules per kilogram, which, by the way, we sometimes can't even see during the summer. That is pretty difficult to get. I mean, look over here in western Michigan. Let's get a sounding from there real quick. I mean, yeah. So this is right before, so the kink in the atmosphere isn't cooking up right here right now, but it's when that warm front interacts with this air that it kind of just turns up the heat up here, and then this all goes off the rails, which we will see in just a second if we go to the 18Z. But that's if storms form. We go to the 18Z, that's when even more storms form, and you can go somewhere like Oakland County, and we can go a little bit into the future here. Actually, I got a way better way to look at this, a lot more easier. So here's the tornado potential, the tornado juice, the nadir juice, and you can see it's impressive. And I'm honestly more concerned about hail than tornadoes. But since supercells are possible, according to the National Weather Service in Detroit, I mean, you can see the warm front boundary is right here, and it's just interacting, and then you have cells forming on the back end right here, so you can get soundings like this. So you can see that supercell parameters are at 20.1, and you can see that spin in the atmosphere with an SRH, which is pretty fast, and you can see that elevated CAPE right here. Mixed layer CAPE is at 807 joules per kilogram. And what's really going to carry this event is that warm front and the low level jet, and that's really what's going to really control what we're going to see on that day. I mean, and again, we're on the run where storms form. You can see storms explode. I mean, look at this. This is an absolute Stormageddon-ish. Yeah, for February, I would say this is a Stormageddon. This would definitely be a really active night over Michigan. What I'm concerned about on the risk, so if I go here, we're going to go to ignore day 1. We're going to go straight to the day 2 categorical. And as you can see, they highlight most of southeastern Michigan except for the thumb, which, as you saw just last time, had severe weather going on in these regions on the 00Z HER, which is why it's a little confusing, but we're going to wait till tomorrow to really see what types of... I mean, there's a chance nothing even happens. There's a chance of clear skies and an absolute amazing night. And then there's also a chance of tornadoes, supercells, and, you know, several things, you know. And if I take a look at the hail risk, that hatched area is the area with a chance of seeing even larger than 2 inches in diameter of hail. I mean, you could look at all these areas that have a chance for severe hail. The wind risk is because of these storms being relatively elevated into the southeastern Michigan and overall Michigan area. Everyone, if not most people, are under at least a chance of seeing an isolated tornado. I would not rule out even a few tornadoes being possible. And we are really going to see how this plays out tomorrow afternoon. So anything I say, take this day and just be like, just take it with a little caution. I will keep everyone updated as best as I can. The most recent soundings, I mean, let's also talk about temperatures. Like, if I go on this is by 3 p.m. Southern Michigan, the southern counties in southeastern Michigan seeing around 71-degree temperatures, absolutely breaking the record of 63, almost by 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is absolutely wild. And then if I go north, still 3 degrees above the record in Detroit, and all around just records being absolutely broken. And if I take a look at the surface-based CAPE, it does not seem that low. And remember, it's still rising. This is 3 p.m. Cap in the atmosphere is eroding around this time. The sun is coming out of the clouds, and then we take a sounding from southern Michigan. See that? No cap. So it really depends not on our cap, but whatever goes on here, which is a general concern. I mean, look at that. That's an area that's under a slight risk, and it's a huge concern if something will happen. And lastly, before I go, if I go here and just take a sounding from, let's go here. All right, so there's still a cap there, but remember this is 3 p.m. and caps are already being broken over here. So the cap is soon gonna break right here. The sun is out, as you can see. It's not meeting. The temperature and dew point is not meeting anywhere, and that will prevent anything massive from happening. But here's where the hail risk comes in. A dry air slot is exactly what you need for hail. Right above where the warm nose is, you see that? That right there is the hail threat. You can see that you really want dew points to be lower in the atmosphere as you go up, kind of like this right here, right as you go up above 1 kilometer. That is exactly what you want, is that little dry area in the atmosphere, and that could actually really crank up some thunderstorms. And I want everyone to remember, this is the month of February. I could be talking about snow. Alright? I could be talking about snow. This does not go until storms form, so. I mean, and look at these dew points. They're going to be super high for this time of year. Now, you may think, but Caden, every other time we've had a severe weather threat, haven't these been near, like, the upper 60s? There was that one time they were almost in the 80s. Yes, but that's when temperatures were around 90 degrees, 80 degrees. So, this is the ratio that we need for severe weather. And as you can see, dew points over southeastern Michigan will be above 55 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the temperature needed to condense into fog or water droplets, you know. And the closer it is, except for meeting it, I mean, look, it's going to be like super humid. Look, it's going to be super duper humid. And that's going to be really interesting to see what will happen. Fog tomorrow morning. I'm not expecting any of it. Maybe over the lakes, of course. But not expecting any fog like we usually do for warm fronts. But as I said, each run on the weather models is different. Each time I look at the weather models, it is a completely different solution. Like, I can go on this, and it's probably going to be something I've never seen in my life. This is running right now, and would you look at that? Storms form in Chicago. So it's really dependent on where these storms hit, where they form, and I will give an update tomorrow afternoon from the Storm Prediction Center and all that to see what we really have. And right now, like, I was going to be pretty confident in my forecasting for this event, but that was before tonight when everything decided to go all over the place and scatter from the original solution. So I'm sorry for the late update. I was thinking about making a video about this for like the past few weeks. Not weeks, but about a week now. And I've just not wanted to pull the trigger too early, and that's why I'm releasing a video the night right before. I just didn't want to do anything like what I did last year early in the season in April. I blame that on the National Weather Service, but it could also really be my fault. But this is all you got to think is that there's a chance for large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes tomorrow, and that is basically what you need to know. Tomorrow evening, if you saw my little short, that's all you really need is at least a National Weather Service radio and a flashlight tomorrow night. I'm expecting storms to hit around 12 a.m. Wednesday and around 11. So between 11 here, I think storms are going to hit sometime past 8 o'clock. So the sun will be down, but it'll feel like the moisture and all the stuff in the atmosphere is going away during the midday. But it's really not until, I mean, the warm front's going to hit, and the mixed layer cape is still going to be pretty good, it seems like. So that's really what's going to drive us. I will make an update tomorrow afternoon. Thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to have everything set up, like my face cam. I'll have editing, stuff like that. This is pretty rushed, pretty fast, and I hope everyone has a very wonderful evening and have a very nice rest of your winter.